Viking raiders to traders, the untold truth behind Norse expansion, blood-soaked raiders with horned helmets, pillaging monasteries and terrorizing Europe. But what if almost everything you think you know about Vikings is wrong? The year is 793 AD. Monks at the holy island of Lindisfarne off England's northeast coast witness an unprecedented horror. Ships with dragon prows appearing through the mist, carrying warriors who slaughter without mercy. This raid marks the beginning of the Viking Age. But the real story of these Norsemen goes far deeper than most people realize. I'm going to show you why Vikings never actually wore horned helmets, how they reached North America 500 years before Columbus, and reveal the sophisticated society behind the brutal reputation. If you've ever wondered what drove these seafarers from their Scandinavian homelands to the edges of the known world, stick around. This is the untold truth of the Vikings. First, let's set the record straight on who these people really were. The term Viking actually refers to an activity, not a people. To go Viking meant to go raiding or exploring. The people we call Vikings were various Norse groups from modern-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Far from being simple barbarians, these Scandinavians developed one of the most advanced societies of the early medieval period. They established complex trade networks, founded cities like Dublin and Kiev, and even reached Constantinople, where they served as elite bodyguards to Byzantine emperors. But what launched them from their fjords onto the world stage? Climate change played a surprising role. The medieval warm period improved growing conditions, leading to population growth in Scandinavia. Combined with inheritance customs, where only first-born sons received land, this created a generation of young men seeking fortune elsewhere. Their expansion wouldn't have been possible without their revolutionary shipbuilding technology. Viking longships were masterpieces of engineering, shallow draft vessels that could navigate both open seas and shallow rivers. They were light enough to be carried overland between waterways, but sturdy enough to cross the Atlantic. The keel design allowed Vikings to sail directly into wind and waves, something no other European ships could do. This gave them tactical surprise in raids and opened trading routes others couldn't access. Let me walk you through a typical raid. Contrary to popular belief, Vikings didn't charge in blindly. They conducted careful reconnaissance, often trading peacefully in an area before attacking. When they did strike, they used speed and shock tactics, hitting targets before local defenses could organize. After Lindisfarne, Vikings ravaged coastal monasteries across Britain, Ireland, and Francia. Why target religious centers? Simple. These were wealthy institutions with poor defenses, often containing gold, silver, and easily transported valuables. But here's what most documentaries don't tell you. Raiding was just one aspect of Viking activity, and for many, not even the primary one. By the mid-9th century, Vikings had transitioned from seasonal raiders to settlers and traders. In England, the Great Heathen Army arrived in 865 not just to plunder, but to conquer. They established the Danelaw, a large section of England under Norse control with its own laws and customs. Viking traders established routes stretching from Greenland to Baghdad. Norse merchants dealt in everything from walrus ivory and furs to slaves and silver. Archaeological finds show they imported silk from China, silver from the Islamic world, and wine from continental Europe. Did you know Arabic coins are among the most common artifacts found in Viking hordes? Comment below if you're surprised by how far their trade networks reached. Now, let's talk about Viking society at home. It's far more complex than most people realize. Take their approach to cleanliness. While medieval Europeans rarely bathed, archaeological evidence shows Vikings were surprisingly hygienic. Combs, ear spoons, and washing basins are common finds in Viking settlements. Anglo-Saxon chronicles even complained that Vikings were too attractive to local women because they bathed weekly and combed their hair. And what about those horned helmets everyone associated with Vikings? Pure fiction. No authentic Viking helmet has ever been found with horns. This misconception comes from 19th century Romantic painters and opera costumes. Real Viking helmets were simple, conical affairs made of iron, practical protection for combat. Viking women enjoyed more rights than their contemporaries in other societies. They could own property, request divorce, and run businesses. While men dominated warfare and politics, women controlled household finances and could become powerful merchants or religious leaders. Some archaeological evidence even suggests women occasionally participated in combat or exploration. Religion played a central role in Norse life. Vikings followed a complex mythology with gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya. Their beliefs shaped everything from warfare tactics to trade journeys. The famous berserkers, warriors who fought in a trance-like fury, believed Odin blessed them with supernatural battle strength. The Viking Age saw tremendous religious change. As they settled in Christian lands, many Vikings adopted Christianity, often practicing a blend of both faiths during the transition. By the 11th century, Scandinavia had largely converted to Christianity, marking the traditional end of the Viking Age. Viking exploration reached astonishing distances. Leif Erikson established a settlement at L'Anse-aux-Meadows in Newfoundland around 1000 AD, the first European presence in North America, 500 years before Columbus. Vikings also settled Iceland, colonized Greenland, and may have reached as far as modern-day Canada. What ultimately ended the Viking Age? Several factors converged around the 11th century. The consolidation of European kingdoms with stronger defenses made raiding less profitable. The spread of Christianity in Scandinavia discouraged raiding Christian targets. And the emergence of powerful Scandinavian kings focused Norse energies on domestic matters rather than foreign adventures. The Vikings left an indelible mark on European history. They established trade routes that enriched northern Europe for centuries. Their settlements introduced new agricultural techniques and crafts. The Norse language influenced English, giving us words like sky, egg, knife, and husband. Their legal traditions, emphasizing individual rights and community assembly, influenced the development of parliaments. In fact, the world's oldest parliament, still in existence, Iceland's Althing, was established by Vikings in 930 AD. As we've seen, the real Viking story goes far beyond the stereotype of horn-helmeted barbarians. They were complex people, capable of extreme violence, but also remarkable art, engineering, and exploration. Their culture valued poetry as much as plunder, and their legacy reaches into our modern world in ways most people never realize. Next time you see Vikings portrayed in popular media, you'll know the truth behind the myths. You'll recognize how these sailors, traders, and settlers transformed the medieval world and laid groundwork for modern European societies. If you enjoyed this deeper look at Viking history, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos that separate historical fact from fiction. And tell me in the comments, what surprised you most about the real Vikings? Until next time, this is Bizarre Archives, helping you discover the authentic stories behind history's most fascinating civilizations.